Welcome, everyone. This is Dave Espino, and I'm joined by Daniel Hall and John Kramer. And tonight we got something really exciting for you. Every time I run across an opportunity I think would be of good value to my audience, I have to share it. And I only share stuff that's really solid. When I discovered this opportunity of driving free traffic using Pinterest, I was just like, I was blown away, and I was like, man, I got to share this with my audience. So I don't have a whole lot to say here other than just to explain who Daniel Hall and John Kramer are, longtime veterans in the internet marketing world. And John specifically is the one who's discovered this ability to drive free traffic using Pinterest. Now, Pinterest has some very unique features that allow people to share and allow you to get viral traffic in some cases. And so tonight is all about that. And so whether you are selling on eBay or Amazon or merch by Amazon or anything like that, any kind of product like that, this is perfect for you, and I think you're going to get a lot out of the presentation tonight. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to Daniel and John so they can start this presentation off.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Dave. I really, really appreciate it. It's an honor and a privilege to get to work with you and your community. I've looked up to you for a long time, and I know that anytime you've ever brought anything to the marketplace, it's always top notch. So I am going to live up to that in tonight's presentation, and I want to welcome you to tonight's presentation and just say thank you for your time and your attention, and just say that if you've never been on a webinar with me or my good buddy John Kramer before, get ready to strap in, because this is not a sit back and relax kind of webinar. This is very, very definitely a nuts and bolts, here's how to do it, here's what to push, here's what to do kind of presentation. So I will also tell you before we go too much further that the broad concepts in tonight's presentation are very easy to understand. You will get them very, very quickly. But I will insert this caveat and let you know that, like everything, or like most things anyway, that the profit is not in the broad concepts. Okay, the profit is in the subtlety, the nuances, and that is the case with Pinterest. So it's easy to miss those subtleties, those nuances, if you're not paying attention. So I'm going to ask you, for your sake, to turn off anything that might distract you, your cell phone, your email client, Facebook, anything that might distract you, and give us 100% of your attention, because it may well mean the difference between your success and failure, and we want you to be super successful. So with that said, this presentation is all about e-commerce Pinterest profits, and specifically helping you to get your piece of the $11 billion annual share economy, cashing in on what John Kramer and myself call peer-to-peer social tokens, and we'll tell you more about that in tonight's presentation. Now, a part of this presentation is with showing you a somewhat controversial case study. I mean, I think people learn best by seeing what is work and what is working, and we're going to show you this case study on how we drove over 168,000 clicks and counting. This continues to this very day, to our website with just one graphic on Pinterest. Now, we've had many outliers. This happens to be our best one, but you're going to see the principles and the methodologies that we're using in this case study, so that then you can emulate it and repeat it in your own business. Now, here's the other thing I wanted to just make sure that you are really clear about, is that we have really one of the best marketers that I know here with you, and that is my friend John Kramer. So this is actually a picture of John and I. I'm this guy over here. My name is Daniel Hall. As Dave said, Basically, I am a best-selling author, speaker, publisher, nurse, attorney, yeah, believe it or not, and a podcaster. And I'm also the creator of the highly popular brand of Real Fast training products. But I'm really just the MC here, okay? The star of the show is this guy right here, my good buddy, John Kramer. Now, John is an expert in marketing and book publishing, and he's also the author of 1001 Ways to Market Your Books, and is actually best known as the grandfather of book marketing. And it's not just me that says great things about John. In fact, the co-creators of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield, said, if you want to sell 600 million books like we have, get and use John's book. And even Stephen Covey said John Kramer was instrumental to our success in making the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People one of the 2 most influential business books of the 20th century. And I know some of you are saying, well, Daniel, that's all well and good for John Kramer. What the heck does this have to do with me? Well, the reason I start off the presentation in this way is so that you understand the level and caliber of marketing acumen headed down the tracks at you right now. So if you have not yet pulled out a way to take notes, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do that right now, because you're going to want to take copious notes. Now, the other thing that I want to know is we want to custom tailor and personalize this presentation to you. So you and I and John, we're all going to be chatting quite a bit today. So I want to know, in helping to mold this presentation for your needs, what are you selling online? I mean, I realize if you're part of Dave's group, that you're probably selling some sort of, merch by Amazon T-shirts or maybe even eBay stuff on eBay. But let me know in the chat what you are selling, whether it's a book, a physical product, an affiliate offer, whether you've got an Amazon, Etsy, or eBay listing somewhere. Now, here's the other thing. A little later on in today's presentation, we're actually going to take one of you and actually build a Pinterest funnel for you on this webinar, so that you can see how it's done, and the rest of you can actually follow along and then emulate it and model it. So also let me know in the chat right now the link to wherever your product is. So if it's on Amazon, I want your Amazon link. If it's on Etsy or eBay, whatever it is, put that in the chat. And a little later on, I'm going to choose one of you to build this funnel for. And of course, once again, the rest of you can follow along with it. So by the way, if you don't know where to communicate with us, let me kind of tell you about that, because as you might be able to tell, we are in fact here live with you. Okay, so let me know in the chat by clicking that little white arrow in a little red rectangular box. If you click on it, sort of mouse over it, click on it, open it up, you'll see a form field in there that says questions. Drop your link in there, the link to whatever it is you are selling. Okay, so go, if you need to go find your t-shirt or one of your t-shirts, then or whatever you're selling, get that into the into the link or into the questions form field for us. Okay, all right. So I've got some responses here. We've got Dave says he's doing affiliate offers. Tony is doing t-shirts. Becky is also doing affiliate offers. And let's see, Jim's got books, Amazon merch, and affiliate offers. Awesome, cool. That's and these are the kinds of answers that I'm looking for. So, and the other really interesting thing here is, now that I have a better idea of what you are selling, it looks like most of you are merch t-shirt sellers. But let me ask you this: how are your sales going? Okay, put a 1 in the chat if your sales could be better. Okay, maybe you haven't even had your first sale. Maybe you're like sitting in that, you've uploaded a bunch of designs and they haven't sold, and you're worried about them actually selling so that you can keep it in Amazon merch, for example. If that describes you, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 2 in the chat if you're seeing sales, but you would definitely like to increase them. And put a 3 in the chat if you're just doing great guns and you're happy with your level of sales and you don't really feel like you need any more. And I'm seeing the responses come in now. 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 1 1. Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, not surprisingly, no one has put a 3 in the chat, but that lets me know essentially that you really do want to juice your sales, which is very, very good that you are here, because I think that if you did in fact answer a 1 or a 2, that you have a fundamental problem. And I think you and I could agree on this. And that fundamental problem is that not enough people are actually seeing your offers. Like literally not enough people know that your product exists. If they don't know it exists, they can't go buy it. So let me ask you this question. What if you had automatic demand and instant momentum for your offer, for your t-shirts, for your affiliate offer, for your books, whatever it is you're selling? What if you had automatic demand and instant momentum for that? Do you think that would help your sales? Let me hear from you in the chat. If you had automatic demand and instant momentum, and of course we're getting yes, 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 yes. I have a couple does in here. So yeah, exactly. And that's really, really cool, because tonight we're going to be sharing a solution with you. And that solution is in harnessing what John Kramer and myself call the share economy. Now, before I go much further here, I want to make sure that you and I are on the same page when I use the term share economy. Generally, these are companies that are characterized by peer-to-peer help and service. So when we think of a share economy type of company, often we think of companies like Uber, Airbnb, Lyft, TaskRabbit, and others. So let me ask you this. Have you either used one of these services or know of a friend or family member? In other words, have you used Uber, Airbnb, Lyft, or any of these types of services in the past? Or maybe your friends or family have used it, and you basically, what I'm trying to establish here is that you have a rough understanding of what a share economy. And okay, I see all the responses. It looks like we are all kind of on the same page with our understanding. So you all seem to understand what the a share economy company is. Now, as I looked and as John looked at this sort of approach, this rough definition of a share economy company, and applied it to the social media platforms, we sort of knee-jerk thought, just automatically thought, that all social media platforms did in fact participate in this share economy. At least that's what we thought going in. But on closer inspection, we found that was anything but the case. In fact, when you look at Facebook and Instagram, in order to get any significant exposure there, you need to pay to play. I mean, as a Facebook user, the fact is that we, as Facebook users, we are the product. Our eyeballs, our attention is being sold by Facebook to other advertisers. So, it's really good for Facebook, and it's a good advertising platform, but it doesn't sound much like a share type of a deal at all, right? That brings to mind Twitter, which of course you can share tweets or retweets on Twitter, but there's a bunch of big problems with Twitter as well. In fact, for the most part, it's not worth sharing tweets on Twitter because the half-life of a tweet is only 24 minutes, which is to say that half the people that will ever see something that you put up on Twitter will see it in the first 24 minutes, and then it very quickly falls off thereafter. And in addition to that, it's only to your followers. So for the most part, for most people, it's not worth sharing on Twitter either, which brings to mind LinkedIn, which is sort of our fourth big platform. Well, with LinkedIn, yes, once again, you could share your content, but for the most part, it's shared within professional groups or only with your connections. In fact, that's the case with all of these: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of them. They only go out to a portion, not even all of your followers. In the case of Facebook, I mean, I'm sure you've probably put a post on Facebook expecting some very close friend or even a family member to see it, and it just doesn't propagate. It doesn't show up on even their timeline. They don't know about it because Facebook doesn't show it to them. So for the most part, these are all either pay to play or too limited to do any significant marketing through them. And that just leaves one share economy platform that does truly participate in the share economy, and that is Pinterest. Now, the reason why I love Pinterest, and when you hear this, I think you're going to love this about it as well, is that any post you make on Pinterest, any pin that you put up on Pinterest, can be seen by all Pinterest users. Not necessarily that it will be seen, but it can be seen by all Pinterest users. Additionally, anything you put up on Pinterest can easily be found even years later. As a matter of fact, I want you to think about Pinterest much like YouTube, because they're both very archival in nature. So let's say that you started on YouTube back in 2008, and that first video you put up on YouTube is still there and is still findable by users on YouTube. Well, the same is the case on Pinterest. So something you put up today on Pinterest continues to be available even years later. Now, when you put these two things together and add the fact that Pinterest itself has a culture of sharing, that's the entire backbone of the platform is sharing, in what Pinterest calls repinning, then you start to understand just how powerful Pinterest can be from a marketing standpoint. So now that I've kind of given you a thumbnail introduction to Pinterest, let me ask you, are you currently on Pinterest? In other words, do you have a Pinterest profile right now? Let me know in the chat if you do. Cool. Yeah, I'm seeing the responses coming in here. Excellent. Yeah, it looks like most of you, many of you, have that. Awesome. Yeah, great. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. Awesome. Because here's the thing that if we really kind of do a deep dive and drill down on Pinterest, I love the fact that Pinterest is much like an online bulletin board. Now, you probably have had like a regular bulletin board, an analog, shall we say, bulletin board, a cork board with thumbtacks where you put up pictures and notes and that sort of thing. Well, that's basically what Pinterest is, except that it's online. And it's also mostly for collecting visual pieces of multimedia. So you can put up things like, video. You could post video to YouTube or to Pinterest. You could post cinemagraphs and even animated GIFs. But mostly what Pinterest is about is static images, things like JPEGs and PNGs and GIF files and those sorts of things. So the reason why I love Pinterest, and from a marketing standpoint, why I think you're going to love Pinterest, is the fact that for the most part, people use Pinterest to discover and save new ideas. And why that's important, as a matter of fact, this is a writer downer, okay, is the fact that, well, let me give you an example. Recently, I decided that I was going to redecorate my wife and I's master bedroom. So Pinterest, and this is another writer downer, okay, Pinterest is first and foremost a search engine, okay? So as a search engine, I went to Pinterest because I wanted to discover some new ideas, in other words, on how I could update my master bedroom, redesign it, redecorate it, etc. So I went to Pinterest and typed in 4 keywords. I typed in the keywords master bedroom redecorating ideas, and literally Pinterest returned page after page after page of these really brilliant images that did in fact give me some great ideas, some of which I've saved and I'm planning on using in my remodel project. But here's the thing. These ideas can take lots of forms, including your niche or the niche that your shirts, for example, fit within. But it could also be things like recipes or DIY projects or, I don't know, winter gardening or fashion or anything, just about any topic under the sun. Pinterest has users interested in that. Now, here's the other thing I want you to understand before we go much further about what happens on Pinterest, because you see every one of these ideas that goes up on Pinterest is in fact represented by a pin, okay? A pin, that's what it's called on Pinterest. So when I say the word pin, really what it is an image. So every pin has an image. And every image in context of this presentation is in fact a pin. So they're synonymous, they're interchangeable in that way. So every pin has an image at a minimum, but in addition to an image, it can also have a description and a link back to that image's source online, okay? And that's actually so important, I've underlined it here in red, so that when people click on a pin's URL, they can find out more about the idea. They can see your shirt, for example, and potentially act on it, okay? So let me very quickly show you how most people pin and repin on Pinterest. So I've actually got my Pinterest profile opened up here, and a couple things I want to show you about it. First off, do you see right up here where it says real fast results? I don't know why it's going down to another level there, but this says real fast results. And thing I want you to understand about is I have a podcast called the realfastresults.com podcast. And with that podcast, I'm trying to promote that show. So the first thing that you should know is that you can name your Pinterest profile essentially anything you want. So this could be the name of your brand, the name of your Amazon store. It could be your name. It could be, Dave Espino, millionaire coach or millionaire maker coach, or whatever, okay? You can just name it anything you want. Now, the other thing, this is really important, you see this profile picture right here. It's a picture of me and my lovely wife. And what I'm about to say applies to all of the males of the species, like myself, the males of the species. Now, Pinterest is, by and large, used, or the vast majority anyway, of the active users on Pinterest are in fact female, okay? So about between 75 to 80% of all the active users on Pinterest are female, which, by the way, is excellent news for us marketers because, for the most part, females are the folks that actually make the buying decisions. So they control the money, by and large, in our culture. That's great news. But here's the other thing that's been reported, that some Pinterest users will hit a page like this, and if they see this creepy looking dude looking back at them, they won't engage. They'll bolt. They'll leave the page. They won't interact. And of course, that's what you don't want. So the lesson here is that if you are a male, have a picture of you and a female, okay? So I don't care if it's your wife, your your lover, your girlfriend, your aunts, your mother, your daughter, a stranger. I don't care who it is, as long as it's you and a female. Okay? All right. So let's talk about repinning. It's the next thing I want to talk about here. So the really cool thing about Pinterest, and I've alluded to this already, is that people can start boards. That's what it's called on Pinterest, a board related to some subject matter that they're passionate about or interested in. And this is, again, another writer-downer. The vast majority of activity on Pinterest is in the repin, okay, the repin. In other words, most people don't create pins and then pin them. Most people come to Pinterest, like I'm about to do here, and they come up here to the search bar and they type in something that they're interested in, what they're passionate about. Now, I have a board called My Dream Cars. I love fast, fancy cars, and I have a dream board called My Dream Cars. These are either cars I own or I plan on buying. And this is the one thing that I'm really hot to buy, and it's this Porsche Macan in white. This is probably the next car that I will buy. So I love looking at these cars. Now, the interesting thing about this is that I said a little earlier that Pinterest encourages active sharing on the platform, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. If I scroll over, like I don't think I have this on my Dream Cars board, but if I scroll over it, mouse over one of these images that I like, it actually tells me or suggests, you see, it does a little pop-up here. It suggests, hey, you should put this on your Dream Cars board. And I'm like, yeah, I love this image. I think I am going to do exactly that. So I'm actually going to click Save, and it goes onto my Dream Cars board, just like that. Now, the other thing you might notice is that we have this little plugin. Now, this is not organic to Pinterest. This is a little software application that we provide to our students that tells you how many times this has been saved and how many times it's been repinned and when it's been created, etc. But let me just show you let me go back up to my boards here. And let's find my Dream Cars board. And you can see some of I'm primarily a author and book marketer. So I have I belong to a lot of boards related to that. But here's my Dream Cars. And here's the image that I just now pasted or pinned. So here's the really cool thing. If I click on this image, and I don't know what's going to happen when I do this because I just now pinned it, it takes me to, bada bing, the image of the car. So the thing that you need to understand, I'm glad this actually happened, that Pinterest is, for the most part, and for people that are passionate about whatever they're passionate about, okay? So this link, when I clicked on it, this could have sent me to a blog about Porsches, where I could have collected somebody's name and email address. It could have sent it. It could have sent it to a Amazon T-shirt on Porsches, for example. It could have sent them just about anywhere. The fact that Pinterest does not have a lot of marketers on it is actually great news for us marketers who are here, okay? But this is how people use and repin things that they're passionate about, all right? So the next thing I wanted to show you here is how to pin initially or do the initial pin here. So I'm going to actually take you to one of my blogs. It's this one right here, danielhall.name. And I've got this blog post up here called Elmore Leonard's 10 Rules of Writing. Now, I am an author, and I actually authored this book called Real Fast Writing, and I wanted to promote that book. So what I did was I designed this this graphic here. And don't worry, a little later on in today's presentation, I'm going to show you how to go about doing a graphic like this. Now, this is called a quote graphic, and we'll talk more about that here in due course. But essentially, all I did was create this fairly simple little quote graphic here, and then I uploaded it to my blog and just wrote the 10 rules that Elmer Leonard quotes and posted it to my blog. Now, here's the really cool thing. If I wanted to pin this one, I'd come over here to my little pin button and just save this, and it will actually opens this dialog box. I'm just bringing it onto the screen right now, and it's asking me, hey, where do you want to pin this? So I belong to many different boards here, and I'm going to actually post this to one of my group boards. Now, I belong to a lot of authorship type of boards and book boards for writers and things like that. So I'm going to find one of them here that I'm a member of, and post it there. So let me see where we got here. I'm going to put it over here on this one called Sharing Writing Tips. I don't think I've posted this there yet. So I'm going to share it, and by clicking Save. So boom. So it just got saved over there. Now, if I wanted to see this pin, let's actually make this a little larger. I would click right here and say, see it now. And what happened to my board here? And for whatever reason, that one took off. So let's go back here, and we're going to actually go to my boards and just find it that way, because I want to show you the cool thing that goes on, or can go on. Let's see. So we're looking for my writing tips. Okay. And if I don't find this quick enough, I will pop back over and just do it again. There it is. So here's the board we just shared, and there's the pin. So if I show you this pin right on this board, there it is. And here's the really cool thing. If I click this pin, what happens? Well, to me, magic happens, because when I do that, it actually takes them back over to my blog. And the reason why this excites me, and hopefully it excites you, because this is one of my money sites. I am primarily an email marketer, so I have people that come and can see other other offers that I have here. They can jump onto my email list, or they could actually even click the pin and go directly to Amazon and go buy it. So this is how to pin and repin on Pinterest. And the really cool thing is, and you need to really understand this, especially in light of what other social media platforms do, is that Pinterest actually encourages its users to organize boards dedicated to niches that people are actually interested in. Now, the other cool thing, and I think you may have even seen it, is that Pinterest is very visually stimulating and quite fun to browse. In fact, some folks have actually reported that they would rather browse Pinterest than actually watch television. Now, the first time I heard that, I kind of gave that the thumbs down. I think I just thought that was a big bunch of hooey. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought to myself, well, of course that's true, because at least with Pinterest, people get to engage and interact with things that they're interested in and they're passionate about, which you cannot do, generally speaking, on television. So it's a very, very sticky and engaging platform, which accounts for a lot of the success that we've seen and our students have seen using it. The other thing that I really love about Pinterest is that it makes it easy to add a clickable link anywhere you want to send people. Now, a little later on in today's presentation, I'm going to actually show you where and how to do that. But suffice it to say that it makes it super easy, and it actively encourages users to share pins and repins and links to your offers get shared with the image. In other words, when your image gets shared, your link gets shared with it. So these pins get shared and reshared and reshared over and over again and can potentially generate clicks for years to come. Now, here's the other really cool thing. If you're not looking at your computer monitor or at this presentation, come check this graphic out, because I think that it really does a good job of describing and demonstrating the social sharing, the exponential social sharing that can go on with Pinterest. So let's say that you are this person right here, and because you're one of our students, you know how to create a good, high-quality pin on your subject matter, whatever your niche happens to be. And you pin that bad boy. And because it's a really great quality pin, these folks find it, because remember, Pinterest is a search engine. You could also gain lots of followers as well, but they find your pin and repin it, and the same just kind of keeps on trucking. Those folks can repin the repins, and on it goes, such that you get all the clicks back to you, and you get more eyeballs on your offers, and of course, you stand to make, of course, much more money, potentially anyway, all on autopilot. Because the other really cool thing about Pinterest is that you don't have to, do this over and over and over again where you're doing the same things. Yeah, you're putting up different pins, but it's not the same thing over and over again. You kind of give birth to it and let it go, right? So that's how this actually can grow exponentially, and it makes so much sense that we would have as many outliers, as many really big viral pins out there as we have, because understand this is really important, that the average pin on Pinterest actually gets shared 11 times. All right. So if you consider that the average pin gets shared at least 11 times, it's easy to understand how a pin could get shared literally millions of times at the other end of that bell curve. So one of the things that I wanted to do to sort of demonstrate how to be way above average, okay, because that's what we train our students to be. We wanted to actually run you through this case study that John actually figured out. He's the one that figured all this out. So John, can you kind of come on and kind of take people through our Bob Harper pin?
Yes, Daniel. When I started with Pinterest about 5.5 years ago, I came across this image and I said, wow, I like the rules. It's from Bob Harper, who wrote a book called The Skinny Rules. And at that time, he was one of the people that was hosting The Biggest Loser. So he was a hot topic and his book was hot. And I looked at it and I said, wow, black and white, ugly. So I decided to make it a little bit prettier by putting a pink border around it. Now, at the time, I thought, okay, simple, easy, make it quick and easy to put it up, and I did. The neat thing is I blogged about his book and his rules, and I linked, of course, to Amazon. But that pink bordered image got 40,000 repins in the next month, and I'm going, whoa, what if I make it even prettier? So what I did is I used the colors from the actual book and made a taller, thinner image of the Skinny Rules. And it's that image, that tall, thin graphic, that got 1.4 million total repins in the next 2 years, and generated 168,424 visits to my website. And, that's the power of a pin, because it continues to go on and on and on as people repin it. As they share it and new people get exposed to it, more people click through to my website. Because the neat thing is with Pinterest is that your link goes with your image. So a pin will will last forever. You know, as Daniel said earlier, the half-life of a tweet is 24 minutes. That means that half the people that will ever see that tweet will see it in the first 24 minutes. You really don't have much opportunity to capture people's attention and keep it. The half-life of a Facebook post is 90 minutes. Again, not that big. The half-life of a Pinterest pin is 3.5 months, according to this research that was done about a year ago. And the interesting thing is that Pinterest now has reported that the half-life of a Pinterest pin is over 6 months. That means that you've got over 2,000 times more opportunity to interact with somebody or have them interact with your post than with the Facebook post, and over 6,000 times more opportunity than with a tweet. And that's really what's important. The pin can last forever, just like that Bob Harper pin on the Skinny Rules. It lasted over 3 years, sending me traffic day after day after day without me doing anything else. And that's really the power of Pinterest. The neat thing is that Pinterest pins convert to eyeballs. That means people click through on pins and repins at an astounding rate. In my experience, anywhere from 2% to 25% of the people that see my pin will click through to my website. And that means that they're ready and willing to visit your sales pages, your email sign-up pages, and so on. It's really magic in terms of how a pin that lives forever can generate a lot of repins and visits. Here are 4 other what I call typographics. One was created by somebody else, the 100 Ways to Say Great. 18 Things High Achievers Do, that's one I created. 15 Things to Give Up. 16 Unusual Uses for Cucumbers. During the first 2 years, they got 107,000 repins, generated 6,000 visits, 92,000 repins, 32,000 visits, 281,000 repins, 38,000 visits, and 96,000 repins, and almost 8,000 visits. But the magic that happened in the next 3 years is incredible, because we got 13,000 more visits. We got 24,834 more visits, almost 22,000 more visits, and almost 7,000 more visits for these 4 typographics on autopilot. That means I didn't repin them. They were just there, and other people were repinning them and sharing them. And I got 66,726 visits to my website in the next 3 years with me doing nothing, absolutely nothing. These were out there, and the pinners just kept sharing them, and they kept visiting. And that's the magic of Pinterest, the power of how things can last and really make a difference for you. Now, the neat thing is, here's a quote graphic that I created. I put it up, and I blogged about it, and then I pinned it. And what I wanted to show you here is that in the next 10 hours, I got 15 direct repins from people that followed me. But the real magic is that in that same 10 hours, I got 266 other people that pinned it. Now, they didn't follow me. They followed people that followed me. They followed people that pinned it and repinned it and so on. So that's really the magic, again, of Pinterest, is how people keep sharing what you have to offer when you create good things. Now, Sarah Hathaway is somebody that took the course that we teach on Pinterest, and she said, my Pinterest and Twitter followers have exploded since I started this program, as well as my blog and website hits. And that's from somebody, just an ordinary person that was sitting there, took the course and learned how to pin properly. This is really the power of the Pinterest share economy. It's a peer-to-peer social media platform. And it's one of the reasons that Pinterest is so valuable and so many people like it. Over 2 million people search on Pinterest every month looking for things that they're interested in. If you want to find the keys to a woman's soul, follow her on Pinterest, because she will create a board for every one of her interests. And I talk about the 6 F's of Pinterest. These are some of the most popular categories of topics that people are interested in: fitness and health, food, recipes and nutrition, fashion and beauty, family, parenting, children, anything funny, and anything that has to do with cute animals. They just love sharing cute dogs, cute cats, and so on. Plus, plus inspiration, motivation, design, home decor, crafts, hobbies, beautiful homes, travel, and more. 80% of the active users on Pinterest are women. So if you have a product that's aimed at women, you're golden. But the neat thing is that 20% of active users who are men are also very passionate, and they are big numbers. They equal the number of people that read Sports Illustrated and GQ combined every month. So it's a big audience out there, and they love high tech, they love fishing, they like outdoors, sports, and a lot of other things, as well as fitness and cooking and food. So how is money made through Pinterest? Users browse their interests on Pinterest and they discover new things because they're always looking, how can I add something more to my life? What's more interesting? Here are my passions. Let's look at them. If they find something that they like, they will repin it to one of their passion boards. Then they will probably also click through on that image to find out more information. And that is really neat because once they click through, then you have an opportunity to sell them and they have an opportunity to buy from you. And sometimes they'll save it to a wish list to buy later. And Daniel, I'd like to bring you back on because I know you have a great story to tell about a friend of yours.
Yeah, this story I think really does a good job of demonstrating just how powerful Pinterest can be. As a matter of fact, I was having lunch with a friend of mine, a colleague, and we were actually at a pizza restaurant, and we'd finished up this meal, this lunch. And she had come out of the restaurant and was waiting for me. I went back to the bathroom to wash my hands, and I kind of followed her out. And when I came out after her, she was sitting on this bench out in front of this place, and you know how people do while they're waiting. And she was sitting there, kind of scrolling with her thumb on her iPhone. And I kind of sat down next to her on this bench and looked over her shoulder. I'm like, what are you doing? She says, well, I'm on Pinterest. And then she gets all excited. She sees this really cool bracelet. She's in the jewelry, and she saves it. And I'm like, what did you just do? She says, well, when I get home, I'm going to go buy this. I don't feel comfortable taking my credit card out now to go buy it. But I'm going to give it when I get home. By the way, this was an Etsy seller that I come to find out that she was looking at, that somebody posted this pin, and it was like one of those 2x4 to the head moments for me. Like, oh my God, this is how people are using Pinterest. I didn't really understand it until that experience happened to me. So yeah, it could definitely be a very, very much a wish list kind of thing. I mean, that's in a lot of ways what I'm doing with my dream cars board. That's my wish list. Those are the things that I'm going to buy. I intend to buy. So, and the really cool thing from that standpoint is the fact that that research is showing some really pretty remarkable statistics with regard to people that do buy from Pinterest, right, John?
Yeah, Daniel, we know from Shopify, one of the major providers of e-commerce stores on the internet, they have found that the average order value of sales coming from Pinterest is $50, and that's higher than any other major social platform. Pinterest is also the #2 overall source of social media traffic to Shopify e-commerce stores. They beat out Instagram and Twitter and anything else except for Facebook ads. But, gosh, you have to pay for those. Pinterest offers you free traffic. Over 2 million people pin product pins every day, things that they love and they're passionate about, things they want to buy. 93% of Pinterest users use the platform to plan what they're going to buy. 87% of Pinterest users have actually bought something online after browsing pins on Pinterest. I mean, that's magic. Pinterest really can help drive not only signups to email, but actual buyers. Now, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what I have found to be the two most effective kinds of pins. And this is, you should really listen in now, because this is what drives the traffic for me. Quote graphics, inspirational, funny, and motivational quotes related to your product or service. Or tipper graphics, 5 to 20 tips in a tall, thin graphic that also features a product shot, a cover of your book, or a picture of you, something like that, offering those 20 tips. We'll look at this. Think of the actual typical pin that's effective as being tall and thin, sort of the size of a bookmark, and anywhere from 300 by 800 pixels wide and tall, up to 12, I'm going blank right now, 12, 734 pixels wide is the widest you can do, but you can do as tall as you want. I like 720 by about 1200, and that's because that fits my website really well, and it really helps to stand out on Pinterest. But think the size and shape of a bookmark. 300 by 800 is the smallest you should do. You can go up to 734 by 1776 or something like that. That's a nice size also. So again, think it in terms of tall and thin, good content from a book if you have a book, or great tips on how to use your product, or if you're writing a blog post, you could include content from your blog post in your graphic. Use your brand colors or the colors of the cover or the product, like I did for the Getting Thin. Offer a picture of the cover and then link to wherever you want to, a product page, an email capture page, any other landing page you want to send traffic to. You can send it wherever you want to. And that's really the neat thing about Pinterest. It's the thing that really makes Pinterest stand out from something like Instagram. Instagram, you can't send people, most of the images are not clickable. You can't send people to where you want to send them. But every image you post to Pinterest is clickable if you add an image to it, and it will send people where you want to send them to. I wanted to show you an example of something I just pinned recently. Pixar, 22 Rules of Storytelling, based on the basic rules that Pixar uses in telling their stories in their movies. And I pinned that, and within the first 48 hours, I had 1,100 repins. That means other people shared it 1,100 times in just 48.
I think we lost John's audio there, didn't we? But what John was just saying was that this pin actually did get repinned in about 1,100 times in the first 48 hours. And then over the ensuing weeks, I think we're up over 3,000 repins on this particular graphic, even since. And so this, the point being, the lesson here is that this continues.
Daniel, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. And I was just
Okay.
kind of filling them in on the Pixar 22 Rules of Storytelling.
Right.
And saying that now we're at what, about 3,400, right? We're about
no, it's over 7,000 by now.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
and it just continues to, people like good typographics. They like things where people are sharing advice in a big way, and that's why typographics are so strong in terms of sending traffic, because people like sharing things like that on Pinterest. So what's the next page? Yes, I wanted to really caution you about using these kinds of infographics. People say infographics are hot, and all that, like these 4 on the left. But there's 2 major problems with them when it regards with Pinterest or most other social networks compared to the typographic here on the right. The first is that they're very complicated to create. They take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours to 2 to 3 days to create. The 18 things high achievers do, I did that in about 20 minutes, and boom, I posted it and I was generating traffic to my website. The other thing is that over 80% of people that access Pinterest do it through their smartphones. And these infographics on the left are not readable on a smartphone without a lot of manipulation and work. You got to magnify them, twist this way, that way. It's just complicated. And if you've ever watched anybody use their smartphone, they don't like to work. They want to see something, be able to react to it, and move on. And you can't do that with the infographics. So, stick with really simple typographics and you'll do much better. Now, the other thing you can use is quote graphics. These are some of the quote graphics that I've used that have generated a lot of reprints. One from Albert Einstein, "Coincidence is God's Way of Remaining Anonymous," with over 30,000 reprints. "Take time to do what makes you so happy," with over 212,000 reprints. And "Nobody cares about your excuses. It's your ass. You move it," over 2,500 reprints. Now, notice that images that back up a quote are going to get shared more often than a simple word quote graphic. And that's a really key tip to understand, because I see so many people pinning, quote graphics that aren't beautiful. And people won't share them. They won't click through. Now, the neat thing is, this is a new thing that Pinterest has started doing in the last 6 months, is they're sending out emails to their users saying, "Hey, we've got 18 new ideas waiting for you." Now, the neat thing is, one of those 18 new ideas that they sent to my wife was one of my pins, "Oprah Winfrey on your purest moments of joy." And the neat thing is they do this again and again. Every day they're sharing things, either new pins, new boards, new users that you might want to follow. And I get 4 or 5 emails from them every day saying, "Hey, check out these things. You might like this." And it's like they're promoting for you. You know, think about Facebook. They will only promote you if you give them moolah, and lots of it. They want money from you. Pinterest is happy to share clickable images that people, they check that out and they click through to your website. And Pinterest loves sending traffic to your website. Now, I wanted to also let you know that there's also to think about a typographic that's more of a pictorial graphic, or what I call a pictographic. If you post an image of a car like the one on the left, simple one car, you'll get some reprints, but you'll get a lot more reprints from a tall, thin, multiple images, different views of the car that you can see. Or put the car in action and you'll get even more shares. And that's one of the tips, that if you've got high-end products, technology, cars, and things like that to sell, do tall, thin pictographics. Don't do one single shots. Do multiple shots. You'll get much more interaction, much more repins, and much more click-throughs to your website, to your sales pages. And you can think of that, so again, multiple shots, and especially good for selling high-tech items like the smartwatches, or solar rechargers, or fancy smartphones. As you can see, these are all cool, and they really get you excited in a much bigger way than if only one of these images were shared. And you can think of it as tall and thin again, but look, this is one image that I saw, the Weber 10,020 Smoky Joe portable grill, black and white, uninteresting. Now you put it in color and you show them the results of using the Weber Smoky Joe grill, yummy corn and pineapple and barbecue chicken, and boy, I'm hungry and I want to buy that Weber Smoky Joe grill. And that's the difference that can be really different. You not only do color, but you show them the results of using your product. That can really make a big difference. So the question we want to ask you is, when should you start using Pinterest? And I want to bring Daniel back on for this, because this is his favorite question.
This is one of them for sure. So, and this is a straight up question. And if you go to your chat right now and just let me know, when should you start using Pinterest? When do you think you should start using Pinterest? Put a 1 in the chat if you think it's better to sell to a group when you have, or to sell your product when you have a group to sell to. And put a 2 in the chat if you think it's better to create your offer and then look for an audience. So put a 1 or a 2. Put a 1 in the chat if you think it's best, again, to sell when you have a group to sell to, or 2, to create your offer and then look for your audience. So you got 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. This is not a trick question. Not a trick question. But the reason why we ask it specifically is because the answer is always you should start using Pinterest right now. In other words, even if you don't have a buy button out there yet, even if you're thinking about creating a new shirt or starting or launching a new product of some kind, then it's makes so much sense to start interacting with the demographic of people that you're going to be selling to. And by the way, this is a really great market research strategy, because chances are very good that there are many things that you could cover in some pins related to your subject matter, and you can see what resonates, because you could see the repins, you could see the traffic coming to your site, and that informs you, oh, I need to do some shirts in this area, or I need to write a book about that, or I need to carry this kind of product because I see this demand based on what's going on with pins related to one of these sort of sub niches. Now, on the other hand, if you already have buy buttons up on Amazon or anywhere else for that matter, then this is a complete no-brainer. Then you should definitely start right now. Okay, so that's the idea here. Start on Pinterest right now, regardless of where you are. Now, John and I have a course, and we're going to tell you about that in a couple minutes here. But before I did that, I wanted to actually show you that we teach many ways to make money on Pinterest. I'm actually going to show you one way to sell directly off Pinterest, and then you can kind of follow along. Now, I have got a brand here for let's see, I think this is Jim's I Live Life. I Live Life brand. Are you here, Jim? Okay, so this is you, right? I Live Life. You dropped this kindly. So can I can you be all right if I used you in your stuff? Okay. So good job on the trademark stuff. So here's Jim's store on Amazon. Cool, good looking store. And so let's choose one of these products. Look, we're getting into we're soon coming into football season, and there are definitely lots and lots of football enthusiast boards on Pinterest. So let's take one of these shirts, I think. And let's do this one. Sundays are for football. So there's that shirt. Okay, so here's the thing that we're going to do. We're going to build a pin for Jim here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to introduce you to this little piece of software right here. It's called the Jing Sun, Jing, Jing Sun. And what this is, it's a screen capture tool that works with both Macs and PCs. And I'm actually going to take a picture of this. I'm going to take a screenshot of this, basically a product shot. And we're going to just grab that. And I'm going to save that. Now, I'm going to put this on my desktop. So I'm just going to save it, put it up here on my desktop. And there we go. Okay, cool. Now that I've kind of have the raw materials that I need, the next thing I want to do is, you know, I just noticed something. I really like this color better. So I'm going to actually take this color. It's for purposes of marketing, often orange does really well in split test. So, and because it shows up so well. So we're just going to, in homage to that fact, we're just going to use the orange one here and try that again. And we're going to just type in here football 2 and save that. Okay, great. So the next thing I want to do, we're going to close that. The next thing I'm going to do is come over here to a site that I absolutely adore. And if you don't know about this, well, you're welcome. It's called Canva, canva.com. And this is one of the sites that I personally love. John loves other sites, but I really like canva.com for designing my images in pins. So what I'm going to do is by the way, you can get a free Canva account. And once you do, you're going to come into your dashboard like you see here and come up over here where it says use custom dimensions. And it's going to pop this little light box that you see here. And I'm just going to go with a 300 by 800 pixels and then click design. And it'll actually pop in another tab here and give us this, this nice sort of bookmark shape image. And this is going to be the start of our pin for Jim here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come over to where it says uploads here on the bottom left. We're going to click that. I'm going to click upload your own images, and I'm going to go back over to my desktop here and grab this football 2 shirt and then upload it. And as you can see, that we're uploading it now into Canva, right? Now, as soon as this sort of bubbles to the very top, that will signify that it's done. It's been uploaded, and I could then just click on it, and it'll add it to my canvas there. And there we go. Okay. So now the next thing I want to do here is I want to make a nice quote graphic for this. So I'm going to come over here to Googly. And that's what I like to call it. And I'm just going to put in here football quotes. Oh, there we go. Football quotes. Okay. And I really like this site called Brainy Quotes, this one right here. So let's see if we can find some quotes that are inspirational and kind of help to show an enthusiast, a football enthusiast, right? All right. This one's kind of cool. The guy that, what was he from? Black Eyed Peas, Darius Rucker. There's 2 times a year for me, football season and waiting for football season. I think that pretty much sounds pretty good for this kind of a quote graphic. Let's see if there's anyone better real quick. I think I like this one best. So let's go ahead and grab this one from Darius Rucker. And Hootie, or he's Hootie, isn't he? Hootie from Blowfish? I can't remember. One of those bands. All right, so we're going to grab that, and I'm going to come back over to this one. So this is our tab. Now I'm going to come over here and go to text, hit heading, and then I'm going to paste that quote in here like this. Boom. All right. And obviously we need to work with this a little bit. So I'm actually going to click anywhere in here and then come over here and just decrease the size of it. So let's see if we can bring it down to a 24 pixel. And then we'll get rid of that. And let's kind of scrunch that up in here. Okay. So there's our quote. Let's actually make it a quote. And I believe it's important to make it a quote, by the way, because people are like psychologically geared to read things that are in quotation marks. So I like to put quotes around it for that reason. And I'm not particularly enamored of this particular font. So once again, I'm going to click in there and come up over here to where we could select another font. And I'm not going to tell you what font to use other than to say that whatever font you use should be seen from far away. Okay, so it needs to be big and bold and can be read from far away. So let's use Catamaran Black here. See how that looks. And that's big and bold, and you can definitely see it from far away. And the next thing I want to do is I'm actually going to come back and kind of move that down a little bit. I'm going to use this area up here and write an actual headline. And I'm going to say something like this. Are you, because I like asking questions in these headlines like this, are you a football nut? Something like that. Bring that up here. And I'm going to change this into a Catamaran Black. And now it's kind of starting to get a little crunched up. Now you see how there's lots of wide spaces here between lines? Well, we could fix that too. If I click in that area and bring that in like that, I come up over to where it says spacing. And now I could actually adjust the line height. So I like it usually about 1.15 is how I generally like the looks of it. So somewhere like that. And that does look pretty good. And I could do the same thing with this as well. I could just click in there and let's decrease the spacing here. Let's right down to something like this. All right, cool. Now, the other thing I want to do here is I'm going to actually, you see right down here below, I've actually left this free. Now, if Jim wanted to, he could actually put his brand or maybe directly to his website for I Live Life for his brand, but because I intend on sending this pin directly to Jim's shirt here on Amazon, I'm going to actually put in a call to action down here, which is the other thing that you could do. And so I'm going to just hit that, add a heading, and then just do a call to action. Grab this shirt, this t-shirt on Amazon now. Great. Okay. Once again, we'll change this to Catamaran Black. We're going to see if we can get down to an 18 and something like this. All right, let's bring that down here. And now it's still kind of, I want to actually decrease this height, this spacing, line height. So let's do the same thing here. We're just going to minimize it here, something like this. Okay. Now, so we're starting to shape up, right? Let's put a couple finishing touches on this. And what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to key off the orange color. That's a big motivation on why I use this particular image, because I wanted to make a big orange thing because it's really attractive to the eye. That's one of the reasons why you see so many buy buttons in orange, by the way. Even Amazon's is orange like that. So we're going to actually add some color to this, and we're going to add some orange color to it. And I don't know this exact orange color. So what I'm going to do now is I have this little, if you can see it, I know it's really small on your screen. Can't make it any bigger, unfortunately. But there is this Chrome extension called Eyedropper right up here, and it's free. You just search it for a Chrome extension. And if I click that and then pick a color from a web page like this, and look at the very bottom of the page, the bottom right-hand corner, as I sort of go over areas, it actually changes the color. And if I want this orange color, to use this orange color, all I need to do is just click in there, and it puts in that orange color right up here. So I'm going to grab the orange color right like that. Well, actually, before I do that, we'll come back to that in just a second. I'm going to actually add a element here, and I'm going to add a shape. So we're going to add a nice square here over the top, and we're going to bring that and put that over our headline here. And obviously that covers us up, and we'll fix that in just a second. But I'm going to first change the color here. So I'm going to change that by having it highlighted like it is, and then coming over to where you see pick a color. I'm going to click that and then click document colors. And let me go grab this color from Eyedropper right up over here and copy that and bring it down over here like that. Cool. All right. That's starting to look really good, I think. Now, I'm going to send this to the back. While it's highlighted, I'm going to come over here to where it says Arrange, and I'm going to send it to the back, just like that. And that looks pretty cool. I'm liking the looks of this. I'm going to do one other thing here, just to kind of really finish it out. I am going to do the same sort of thing, but here at the bottom as well. So I'm going to grab a shape. I'm going to get the same color, and by the way, it remembers document color, so I just click that, and you can move that down here, over there, just like this, and send that to the back. Having it highlighted, we're going to go to Arrange and send the back, just like that. All right. So let's move that a little bit down. Of course, you could mess with this a little bit more, get it just right. But I think this looks actually pretty dang good, honestly. So one other thing I could do with this, I'm not sure how good it would look, is I could click in here and change this from a black color to a white background. Let's see how that looks. Ooh, that does look good. Ooh, that was the right decision. So I'm going to call this done. This gets us far enough so that you actually understand what we're doing here, right? Now, and actually, let me do the same down here. Let's grab that and do it in white, like that. There we go. Ooh, I do like this. This is looking good. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to where it says File and then Save. And then over here, I'm going to come to where it says Download and then download the image, because we're going to now upload this to Pinterest. Now, here's the other thing I wanted to just ask you, and this is a really important point. You remember I said earlier on in today's presentation that you need to pay attention to the nuances and the subtleties. This is one of them. I've been trying to point them out as we've gone through, but here's another one that's really important. When you name your pin on Pinterest, you should name it after a buyer keyword, some sort of buyer keyword. Can anyone tell me in the chat why I say you should name your image a buyer keyword? Let me know in the chat if you know, or even if you just can guess. Get that into the chat. So we're going to say football. We're going to say fan. We're going to say NFL. we're going to say pigskin. We're going to say touchdown. Okay. So Becky, you've got it right. Becky's got it spot on. It's for SEO purposes. Okay. That means that we want our pin being found, right? We want our pin being found. And not only found on Pinterest, by the way, but found on Google, because these are searchable. Google will pull up pins related to your keywords related to these buyer keywords. So yeah, you want those keywords. So let's go back over here to Pinterest, and let's upload this. So I'm going to upload this directly to Pinterest by coming over here to the little plus button. I'm going to click that and then click Create Pin, and then let's go grab this pin for Jim. So here it is, football fans, NFL pigskin touchdown. We're going to click that. We're going to highlight it, open, and there it is. Okay, now I promised you, I said, okay, where do you put the website? Where do you put where to go send folks to? I'm actually going to grab this URL. This is the URL for Jim's shirt right here. So I'm going to grab that, copy, and I'm going to copy it and then come back over here and put it in here in the website. Boom, just like that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do another call to action. So grab the, actually we're going to do click to grab the T-shirt on Amazon now. I love to use the word now in copywriting. It's a very powerful word. Now, the other thing I want to do, and let me see if you've got any additional copy here. You may not. Yes, you do. Great. I'm going to actually grab this paragraph right here. Jim, very, very smart by using this. So let's go ahead and grab that. And we're going to put that into our description here. More keywords, by the way. So there we go. Okay. Now I'm going to click done. And now it's going to ask me, where do I want to put this? Now, Jim probably will have lots of boards for football and the gym and the things that he has shirts around. I don't have a football board, so I'm actually just going to add it to my articles and resources board here. So I'm going to click save. And now let's actually see this on Pinterest here, if I can. I don't know if I could. There we go. And so, are you ready for magic, Jim? Ready for magic, everyone? So if I click this, what happens? Boom, back over to Jim's shirt to go buy it, right? That's how this works, okay? So what I wanted to just show you here is the fact that there are many ways to make money. And as a matter of fact, primarily, John and I use Pinterest to build our email list because, as I said, we're primarily email marketers. But I said, John, we need to prove to people that you can make money directly from Pinterest without, building an email list, just sending them to your, to your e-com store or wherever, right, that has a buy button. So he says, no problem. So he just went and grabbed some of the things he's got out and working. And as you can see here, essentially he's generating between $600 and $700 a month, okay, passively, just on autopilot. And it's not just John. As a matter of fact, we've had several thousand students come through this training. Felicitas happens to be one of them. And for you affiliate marketers, we have a lot of affiliate marketers here. She says, I'm happy to report that I've recovered more than I paid for the Real Fast Pinterest course by being an affiliate for it. It's a set it and forget it kind of thing, really. And Dennis Kashkin, the guy that founded Board Booster and has worked with some of the biggest brands and bloggers on Pinterest, says some people earn up to $50,000 per month from just blogging and pinning. And to stand for the proposition that you could sell anything from Pinterest, another one of our students, Tom Antion, said that he's got actually many businesses. Protection Dogs Elite is where he sells these $20,000 elite protection dogs. And he created this pin right here called 21 Reasons a Protection Dog is Better Than a Man. And he reported that he's actually had 2 sales so far from this one graphic at $20,000 a pop. Okay? So my question for you is, are you excited that you have finally found a way to build your business on autopilot? Let us know in the chat. And while you do that, I'm going to take a sip of water. I've been talking quite a bit. Whew. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Jim and Dave and John. Awesome. Thank you so much. I really awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So here's the deal. What I would like to do is I would like to take just a few minutes and actually take you through. And by the way, we're not finished teaching yet, not by a long shot. But I did want to spend a few moments here introducing you to John and I's course called Real Fast Social Graphics. And this is really more of a coaching program that has been completely updated for this year, 2018, because we've had this training in some form or another for almost 5 years. I could actually pretty accurately say we've had it for 5 years now in some format or another. But this has been completely updated with brand new and what's working today strategies. And really what this is a total system for Pinterest success. And the best thing about it is the system is specifically designed for people who are basically like you and me. They're not graphic designers or particularly good marketers. I mean, if you are a good marketer, if you do know how to do graphic design, so much the better. But the fact is you don't need to with Real Fast Social Graphics. That's because really what you're getting is a mastery in money making on Pinterest. And we do that in a variety of ways. First, we show you how to build images that practically beg to be shared over and over again with your link. And you may well have a really great outlier, a really some really stunning performers like we have, and had over 1 million repins and over 100,000 clicks. Okay, that just keep going and going and going. The other really cool thing is we show you how to repin for the win. Now, I told you that the vast majority of activity on Pinterest is in the repin. So these are strategies for repinning and using existing images, but getting the maximum amount of sharing and clicks to your sites, okay, to your offers, to your Amazon listings. By the way, this is a huge time saver and a money maker because you're using what's already been created, but in a totally different way than the vast majority of people will use, okay? Now, here's the other thing, especially if you are a t-shirt buyer, okay, or excuse me, t-shirt seller, because if you know where and when to look on Pinterest, it is possible to discern hot trends in your niche before they start trending out in the wider world. So we show you where and when to look for these trends and then what to do to drive traffic to your offers using them, okay? So you get more buy buttons and you get more traffic to your actual listings. So you're going to get that. And as I hope that you can very easily see here, that Pinterest and any kind of e-commerce is really a marriage made in heaven. So if you've got any type of Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Shopify, or affiliate type of program, this is perfect for you. And we take you through and show you how to leverage and maximize your sales in e-commerce using Pinterest. The other thing we're going to show you how to do is create fins for the tragically unartistic, like John and I. You know, we're not particularly good designers. And we're actually going to show you using programs that you probably already have on your machine, programs like PowerPoint, MS Word. And the other thing too is if you don't have those or you don't want to use them, we'll actually show you some free programs like Pablo, TypeSlab, and I've already introduced you to Canva. Okay, there's so much more to Canva. That's just the tip of the iceberg with what you can do with Canva. So you're going to get that as well. This is really important. We're going to show you how to get on and get off. Profit on Pinterest in just 5 minutes a day. So this is perfect for the busy person who has to get the maximum benefit out of a minimum amount of time. Now, I'm willing to confess to you that many of the time that I've gone to Facebook to quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes here, by the way, quote unquote, engage and build my business on Facebook, and only to find that 2, 3, 4 hours later, the only thing I've actually accomplished on Facebook was liking a bunch of people's posts and watching a whole lot of video. That's not what we teach you how to do on Pinterest. We show you how to get on, do what you need to do to get results, and get off. All right, so you're going to get that as well. Also, if you are an expert or if you want to build expert status in whatever your niche is, we're going to show you how to do that as well. As a matter of fact, on this slide here, I want to actually direct your attention to the top right-hand corner, speaking of e-commerce sellers, because you see Johanna Basford up here. You know what her claim to fame is? You know what she's really doing very, very well, just crushing it? She actually sells adult coloring books, okay? And I'm not talking about erotica. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like mandalas and you know, pretty images that, you know, you relax and sort of color. She's doing that. And by the way, if you have a blog, oh, mamma mia, and you want to build your readership, you want to build subscribers, look, draw your attention to the bottom left-hand corner, the Brown Sugar Food blog. You know, these folks are doing a lot of things right. And by the way, I don't know if you've noticed, but folks like Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins, John Lee Dumas, Guy Kawasaki, these people already have a massive platform, but yet they're using Pinterest to grow it even more and even larger. So we're going to show you what they are doing and how to emulate their results. The other thing we're going to show you is group boards. And I actually wrote here group boards equals group love. And I'm going to bring John back on. John, can you teach a little bit more about group boards here and why they are so important, not just to our program, but in general usage on Pinterest?
Yeah, Daniel. A group board is simply any board, and every board that you create and that you have on your Pinterest profile, you can invite other people to collaborate with you. That's all a group board is. So you can invite one person or you can invite 20 people. Now I have a group board, blogging and internet marketing tips. And I invited people like Mike Koenigs and Joe Comm and Daniel Hall and Jason Flatian and about 80 other people to join with me in pinning to that group blog. And the neat thing about it is, and what Daniel loves, is that I control the look and feel of that particular group board. So the promotion for our course, Pinterest is where viral book marketing lives, and of course Etsy marketing and any other kind of marketing, I control that look and feel. So My board, when somebody joins my group board, when I invite them, my group board shows up on their profile. In this case with Joe Com, it's on the top left, prime position. But it also shows up in Mike's board. It shows up in Jason's. It shows up in Daniel's and the other 80 people who are part of that group board. So that's really neat, and that's a really great way to expand your but it's also
Yeah, what John's trying to say is that essentially it's a great way to expand your and leverage your activity on Pinterest, so that when you post to a group board, it actually gets posted to all these other people's boards and shows to their followers as well. So it can be very, very powerful in that way. And on the other side of that coin, because John's having some audio difficulties here.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. But let me just finish this thought. The other side of this coin is the fact that you should be joining other people's group boards. And the fact is that that's not always easy. It's not always easy, number one, to figure out who owns the group board, and number two, how to reach out to ask for an invite. So a big part of what we teach within this module, the Real Fast Social Graphics, is how to go about doing that. So pretty much you have, instant access, instant audience, instant eyeballs on whatever it is you're doing by being a member of these boards. And as I said, it's tricky to learn and ask for invites, because there's not like a clear methodology or policy on how that's done on Pinterest. So we show you sort of the intricacies of how to go about doing that. So did you have anything else that you wanted to add to that, John?
That's what I was going to add.
Okay. All right, cool. So that's the one thing I wanted to just make sure that you understood about group boards. And the other really cool thing that you're going to get is a really great software package that includes a keyword finder for Pinterest. You remember when I was saying, hey, you need to have buyer keywords. You should be using buyer keywords to name your pins and using them in your descriptions and so forth. Well, that's not easy, right? So we actually have a keyword finder for Pinterest that will help you discover long tail keywords so you could add them to your pin descriptions, to your pin titles, to naming your pin, to your board descriptions, and even your profile. So you're going to get that, plus a pin scheduling software where you could use the software to schedule up to 200 pins for free and schedule pins from any website. That includes, by the way, posts that you may have on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. The other thing that we're going to provide you, and you actually saw it in action today, is Pinterest hidden numbers, because it actually helps you find out the numbers of your pins as well as other people's pins and repins and shares, and as well as creation date. So this is a tool that it helps you to understand the what pins are kind of going viral, so you could piggyback off those as well. And then for those folks that have any kind of e-commerce, which I know we have a lot of you here today, we actually have another software that allows you to make these tall, thin photo collages out of multiple images in just a few minutes from your store. So by the way, this is a free for 5 days. This particular part of the software is free for 5 days, and then it's just $10 a month thereafter if you like it, if you want it. I personally do all of that in Canva, so I don't pay that, but if you like it, that's there for you as well. Now, the other thing that I love, and I'm always telling my own community, my own clients, that they should be collaborating more, cooperating more with people in their niche. So the best and easiest way to do that is by building tribes. That's what they're called. They're called tribes on on Pinterest. So we'll show you how to do that, which, by the way, turbocharges your peer-to-peer sharing. So you get your pin shared potentially to a much wider audience and faster as well. Now, here's the other thing. Oh my gosh, you're going to love this. As a matter of fact, if you're not looking at your computer monitor right now, come check this out. This is actually profound, because here's the thing. We've learned, we've been doing this for a while. Okay, this is not, we're not a flash in the pan, not by any stretch of the imagination here. But we figured out that there is a way to piggyback traffic on daily television shows like Dr. Oz, The View, and others, okay? So with that, what we learned was that you could actually do a lot of, you could find somebody that's going to be on one of these shows, and actually do a pin related to whatever it is that they're doing, but that also relates back to you. So we actually kind of stumbled on this initially, where we did some pins, and just by happenstance, just by luck, essentially, some celebrity that we did a pin on was appearing on one of these shows, and then we saw this huge spike in repins and clicks back to our site, and we're like, aha. It didn't happen automatically, because this happened a couple times. We're like, I wonder if we could reverse engineer it, and that's exactly what we ended up doing. So you get that. We're actually going to show you where to find who is going to be on these shows before they air, so that you're ready when the media buzz starts happening. Somebody's on Ellen or Dr. Oz or wherever. And then we show you how to segue connect these guests to your shirts, for example, or your products on Amazon, or your books, or your blog posts, whatever you want to send folks. So I got to say, we could have actually built the entire course out of this one module, and this one thing alone is worth many, many multiples of what I'm about to ask you to invest in yourself. But you're going to get that as a part of this training. And you're also going to get our personal help. As I said, this is not just just another course. No, this is a coaching program as well. Now, the way we do this is we have a private Facebook, a members-only private Facebook group that you're going to get lifetime access to. And here's the really cool thing about that. John and I have actually been talking about adding a $97 a month charge to this, because it's work. We're in there, and we're helping out all the time. So if we do that, you will be grandfathered. So essentially what you're getting here is $1,200 in coaching each and every year. You don't have to pay again, just once, and you're with us, and we're helping you along the way. So you're going to get that. And the other thing I realize is that you want to hit the ground running. So we actually give you some Canva training as well as 5 done-for-you Canva Pinterest templates. Literally 20 minutes from right now, you could be up and running. And here's the other thing: if you've never seen a cinemagraph, or you want to just see some really cool images, come look at your screen now, because what we learned is that cinemagraphs rock on Pinterest. So we actually have a complete how to create cinemagraphs for use on Pinterest using your PowerPoint. And why do this is because they attract attention, obviously, right? You just have to look at them. You can see that. And of course, clicks back to your website. So this is a whole other separate freestanding course on how to go about doing that. Now, as I said, we've had literally thousands of students in the last 5 years come through Real Fast Social Graphics. Judith happens to be one of them. And she says here, I've just discovered that the traffic to my Proofread NZ website has, as of the 30th of November, tripled from a very consistent 8-year performance level. Now, let me unpack that for just a second. She's been bebopping along for 8 years at a consistent level. She does what we tell her to do in Real Fast Social Graphics, and bada bing, she triples her results. She triples her traffic to her websites and to her offers. And here's one great reason why. Because John said, that Pinterest does great things for you on the platform itself. But imagine this. Pinterest, when you know how to create boards and pins that are really great, high quality, Pinterest will actually email market for you as well. As a matter of fact, if you would direct your attention to the highlighted yellow where it says words and 26 pins down there near the bottom of the page, well, this is actually one of our students that Pinterest is actually promoted to John. This is an email that Pinterest actually sent to John. So yes, no wonder you could be found, right? Even if you don't have any followers on Pinterest, because if you've got good quality content, you will or you stand a good chance of being promoted by Pinterest for free as well. So you're going to get that, as well as Facebook marketing for authors and experts to get more fans, the Twitter Mania Manual, the secret to building an incredibly fanatical following on Twitter, and how to use LinkedIn to promote yourself as an author or expert and find promotional partners and build long-lasting and useful relationships. You see, taken together, this is a social marketing suite for folks just like us. Internet marketers, e-commerce people, authors, publishers, and experts of every kind. Now, you're probably wondering, dang, this sounds great. What is the investment? Well, when we put this on sale, it is at $497, but that is not your investment. In fact, if you go to this link right now, realfastsocialgraphics.com/Dave, as a matter of fact, we put that into the chat. Could somebody click that link in the chat and let me know that it is working? And when you go there, you're going to see a whopping big discount. But I got to warn you here that discount that you see on the page, I cannot guarantee past the end of this webinar. So if you want this very, very special deal, I strongly recommend that you grab it right now. And I want to put the value in perspective because, as you can see, the investment in Real Fast Social Graphics is very low. But let's say that you wanted to go buy traffic. Well, John is getting approximately 4,000 free clicks a week on Pinterest using these strategies. Now, let's say you went to Facebook and tried to buy those clicks, and you lived in some fairy tale land and you can get it for 25 cents a click. I've never been able to get anywhere near that on Facebook, but let's say you could. That's still $1,000 a week in free traffic, and the traffic just keeps coming. And as a matter of fact, you can't even turn off the traffic. I mean, I guess you could take down the web page. You could take down the product, I guess. But that's about the only way I know. So the place to go to grab this very special deal is at realfastsocialgraphics.com/Dave. That link is in your chat if you're here live with us. Now, here's the other thing I want you to understand about John and I. John has been in business for over 30 years, and I myself have been in business now over 10 years. And one of the reasons why we love working with Dave is we all share the same philosophy. And that is, we all understand that our success is directly related to yours. That's why we have had such staying power and why you will not be alone in your journey to a more profitable business. So the place to go right there, realfastsocialgraphics.com/Dave. And I just wanted to show you, this is somebody recently posted this to our Facebook group. Keith says, hey, thanks for the Pinterest info, John. It's starting to work great. The pin below has appeared over 1,300 times on Pinterest, plus activity to my website. And here's the other thing I want you to understand. I know some of you are saying, well, yeah, Daniel, you're a big guru. John, you're a big guru. Of course you get, results like this. What about me? I don't have anyone. I don't have any followers. Well, first off, I just reiterate, I've said it several times. Pinterest is a search engine. If you've got good content, it will be found. But you could also build followers. Okay, you could build an audience on Pinterest as well. So if you want an instant audience, and by the way, you do, we have what I believe is the best bonus yet. We actually have 4 boards for you. One's called Tips, Tips, Tips. Another one's called Best Gifts for Men. Another Best Gifts for Women. And another one, Inspirational, Motivational Quotes. Now, each one of these boards has at least 5,000 followers. So as a member, you get to be a member of these group boards, okay? So you get an instant audience. You get to hit the ground running. So in order to get this very special deal, the place to go, realfastsocialgraphics.com/Dave. And again, I wanted to put just make sure that you understand some of John's accomplishments, because these strategies absolutely do work. In fact, maybe you've heard of Deepak Chopra. Well, he took Deepak from a Vanity Press author to being a New York Times bestseller more than 8 times. And Joel Comm, another New York Times bestselling author, says Kramer is the go-to guy for marketing books. No duh. But not only are Kramer's tips and resources excellent for promoting books, but you could use many of the techniques and strategies for promoting a variety of other goods and services. Highly recommended. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, dang, this sounds great. How quickly can I see results? Well, here's another one of our students, Rhonda, and I want you to pay particularly close attention to the times here, the times and the dates. She says, results update. Yesterday, July 2nd, I enrolled in this course, watched the videos, and started implementing. The doing part was like late in the afternoon. I had no Pinterest traffic for the last month. No surprise, as I hadn't used it as a source. But drum roll, please, 23.5% of my traffic yesterday came from Pinterest. Now, once again, let's kind of unpack really what she said here, what's going on. She didn't start the course, she says, until late in the afternoon. She probably didn't get her first pins up until a little later that evening. And yet, in one day, she basically increased her traffic to her site by almost 25%. Okay, so yes, this can happen very, very quickly for you. Place to go, realfastsocialgraphics.com/Dave. And yes, if you do have any kind of book, like we have a bonus for that as well. So promoting your novel on Pinterest is another one of our bonuses that you get. Oh, by the way, I should tell you that these strategies work regardless of where you are in the world. So I took our last 250 buyers and I uploaded the buyers' APIs into this service that makes this map for us. And as you can see, we have people all over the world using these strategies. North America, South America, Central America, Europe, the Near East, the Far East, and everywhere in between. So the place to go, realfastsocialgraphics.com/Dave. We're going to start taking your questions here in just a moment, but I want to leave you with this one other thing that you really need to understand, especially if you have any kind of coaching or consultancy or even agency, that what we teach you with this course is in itself super valuable, and you could turn around and market it. So EcoStudio.site here, they actually sell this between $400 and $745 a month. Okay, just doing what you're going to learn within Real Fast Social Graphics. And the last bit that I want you to understand is that Pinterest is in fact just loads of fun. I mean, I'm sure you've experienced marketing that is no fun at all. That's not Pinterest. That's not how we roll with Pinterest in Real Fast Social Graphics. So if you want the very best currently available deal, I strongly recommend that you head to realfastsocialgraphics.com/Dave right now and grab this very, very special offer. So with that, we will start taking questions. Do we have questions in the chat there that we need to go over and cover? We did have one question from Monty, who says, what was the screen capture software used to capture Jim's shirt again? It's called Jing, Jing. This is actually called the Jing Sun, okay, right there. And that's what we use, okay? And another question that we often get is, what's the difference between Pinterest and Instagram, for example? Well, the big difference there, of course, is that on Instagram, the links are not clickable. Yeah, you could put up lots of images on Instagram, but good luck trying to get off of Instagram, right? The Pinterest doesn't work that way. You can click on the image and you be sent off just about anywhere you want to go. Let's see. Jim wants to know, what was your Pinterest URL? What URL are we talking about, Jim? My personal one? Oh, sure. Yeah, I think it is Pinterest.com/real fast results. But let me just double check that because I don't have it off the top of my head here.
The neat thing is, it is real fast results. And the neat thing is, right now I'm getting over 2 million people seeing my pins every month, and over 100,000 of them are interacting with those pins every month. And that's really, interacting means that they're actually visiting my website or repinning the pin, one of those two things. And that's really where the value is, especially in terms of getting people to come to your website.
Yep, and there's Jim's image that we just put up. So,
and I repinned that for him, so it's already been repinned.
Cool. All right, so let's see. John wants to know, are setting up funnels explained? John, do you want to handle that one?
We really don't cover funnels specifically, but perhaps we could. One of the neat things
we do cover funnels, and we actually just built you. We just built a funnel for you, right? We just built a funnel for Jim. This funnels over to Jim's, his shirt, his football shirt, for example. We could have actually sent this over to Jim's blog if he had a blog, right? You could send the traffic anywhere you want. So with regard to a Pinterest funnel, that's really what the entire course is about, if that's your question, John. Does that answer your question? Okay, so yeah, John says cool. All right. So other questions here.
I haven't seen any other questions come through. So the neat thing about Pinterest is that it's set and forget. I mean, literally, you find something that's working, you can repin it if you want, but a lot of other people will start repinning it, and it will start sending you an incredible amount of traffic. I just created a new pin a couple of weeks ago on Stephen King, celebrating, what he was, his tips on writing. And within the first 30 days, I got 605,000 impressions, almost 11,000 saves or repins, and over 1,000 people coming to my website because of it. And that's just in the, that was pinned on June 4th. So I guess it's 2 months ago. But the first 30 days, it got over 605,000 impressions and almost 11,000 saves and almost 1,000 clicks to my website. That's what it does. That's what Pinterest is golden for. And that Stephen King pin is going to deliver for me for a long, long time.
Absolutely. Okay, so if you've been waiting for us to say that this is sort of your last chance at this deal, let me just go ahead and say that right now. Head on over to realfastsocialgraphics.com/Dave if you want the best available deal. That link is in the chat. And if you don't have any other questions, I want to thank you so much for your time and attention. I want to also thank Dave for putting this fine group together. And John, I want to thank you for all of your efforts and actually figuring all of this out. So back over to you, John, for final remarks.
Again, the things, the graph that you have right there now, Pinterest is fun. You'll find that you actually enjoy using Pinterest. And again, it's something that you don't have to do for very many minutes a day, 5 minutes a day. I use Pinterest less than that. And I'm getting 2 million people impressions every month and over 100,000 reactions. And that's what you want. You want people coming to your website. The neat thing is that once Pinterest starts sending you traffic, Google and the other search engines pay attention, because if you're getting that much traffic, Google thinks, okay, you've got good content. We should be sending more people to that website. So being on Pinterest is an incredible SEO activity, because it really does increase your presence, or Google love, basically. So again, I wanted to thank Dave also for having us here and giving us a chance to present this to the people, because to me, Pinterest is fun and it's profitable.
Well, I can't think of a better way to end tonight's presentation. And with that, we will do our best to get you out a replay if it takes. And
it's on here too.
Yep. And we will see you in the members area. And I want to thank everyone that jumped on this very special deal. With that, good night, everyone.
Good night.